Hello and welcome. This is Sadhusman. In today's video, we are going to discuss the dynamic array formula called sequence. This formula is part of a set of 6 formulas that Microsoft has released for its Office 365 users. Let's discuss this formula in detail. The purpose of this formula is to generate a sequence of numbers based on certain conditions. Let's see how this formula is applied. In this case, I have a formula written in the cell, and you can see there are 4 arguments to this formula. One is rows, columns, start and step. Let's apply this formula again to see how it is done. If I write sequence, I will have to specify the number of rows on which I want to have the numbers generated. So let's say I refer to the cell. I want 8 rows in which the cells I want Excel to generate a sequence of numbers. Since I have only one column, so I can skip this part. And the start point should be 2. For example, I want my sequence of numbers to start from 2, and I want an increment of 2 as well. If I close the bracket and press enter, you can see the Excel has generated a list of numbers starting from 2 and ending at 16. So this is how Excel can generate a list of values, a sequence of values through this formula. This formula can be used to generate list of values both in a single dimension as well as a multi-dimensional array. So in this case, we have got 2 dimension, and let me put the formula again. Sequence, we want 8 rows, we want 5 columns, we want the numbers to start from 2, and we want an increment of 2 as well. So if I press enter, you can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, until at 80, it has generated a sequence of numbers. Let's say, for example, if we have something written in between, then Excel will give us a spell error, and the spell error will just specify that there is something in between in this range of cells highlighted by these blue dots, and in this range of cells there is something obstructing the value of the formula. If we remove the obstruction, the Excel will automatically re-spell the values in all the required cells. Do you think that Excel has just issued this formula sequence for generating a sequence of numbers only, which we could have done? For example, I could have typed 2 here, and one way of doing it is like this. I can drag this number down here. I can use this formula to I can use this method to generate a list of numbers. Similarly, I can do this. I can generate list of numbers, or let's say I can do this as well. So there are multiple ways of generating a sequence of numbers, but Excel has not only issued this new formula for generating a list of numbers. It can be used in multiple ways. Let's see one more example. We can use a list of dates as well. Let's say I want to generate a list of dates. I can use this formula again, sequence, and again I want to have my list of dates in 8 cells, 8 rows, no columns, or one column only rather, and my starting date is 18th of July, and I want to have a step value of 2, which means I want every alternative date. So 18th July, 20th July, and then we go to 1st of August. So automatically Excel spells the dates in the adjacent cells. We can also apply this formula on time. Let's say if it's 10 a.m. right now, I can use this formula to create a list of values. This is a little bit tricky, so we have to use this in step by step. Let's apply this formula. Sequence, we want to have a list of 8 values, so we get 8 rows. We skip the column, and from start we can just take the minutes. For example, if I want to just take the minutes here from this value, and I want to get a value, increasing value by 15 minutes of the time. If you press enter, so I've got certain values, but this is not what I wanted, so I will have to convert this into time. So what I'm going to do is I can use the time from my current time. I will refer to the cell, and then I will use the sequence formula to generate the minutes for me, and then finally I can use the seconds or zeros. I can do 0 seconds, and then you can see 10 a.m., 10:15 a.m., 10:30 a.m., and so on and so forth. We can use this to generate a list of time. Let me edit the heading. list of time, and then time values are incremented by 15 minutes each time. We can also use that to generate hours. For example, if I sequence this, in this case I take the hour value from this value, and then step value should be, I changed it wrong. Let's say I want a step value of 1 hour, and okay, and then I can use the time formula to generate time value. My sequence will give me the hour value. I will get 0 as minutes and 0 as seconds, and then I press enter. You can see 10 a.m., 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 5. So we can get hours, we can get minutes using the sequence formula by specifying the value that we want. Okay, one more application of a sequence formula. In this case, we have formatted this data as a table, and the table name is sequence table. And what I want is I would like to extract last 4 records from this table. And in this case, I'm going to use the sequence formula again, along with some other formula, which is index. Let me delete this. If I were to apply the index formula, I will use this table as array, and the row number that I want is the last 4 rows. So what I want to do is I want to generate a sequence of values so that my first row in the cell is the 4th last row from the table, and the 3rd last row, 2nd last row, and the last row at the bottom. So I want to generate a list of values here through sequence. Now let's apply the formula. Index, we will select the range of cells, which is a sequence table, and then we will apply the sequence formula. In the number of rows that we want to extract is 4, so I'm going to refer G28, which is 4. We don't want to specify the number of columns, so let's leave it. And in start, I'm going to find out which row number should come first in the table, in the resulting table. So in case of this table is 10 rows, so this table should start from 7th row, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. I'm going to get 4 rows over here. So for that purpose, I'm going to use the formula rows, and I'm going to refer this table first. And in rows, I will deduct this cell 4. So 10 minus 4 is 6, and plus 1 will give me the 7th row. And I will close the bracket for sequence, and then I'm going to, for column, I'm going to specify an array, which is the rows, the column that I want from the initial table, and then I close the bracket. So you can see the last 4 entries are here: Abdul, Ali, Fahad, and Umar, and all the 4 values are appearing in this column, in this table. And if I change this, let's say if I make it 3, you get the 3, so I make it 5, get 5, and so on. So this is truly dynamic, and we can use index formula along with sequence. We can also use sequence formula along with the VLOOKUP. Let's say how it's done. So I want to refer to, I want to get these values of subject, age, and marks for this entry Imran. Let's see how it's done. So in this case, I'm going to use a VLOOKUP. I'm going to look up value K30, and I'm going to look up here in sequence table. And for column index number, I'm going to specify which column I want. So in this current cell, I want subject. Subject is the 2nd column. So I want to generate a value of 2 here, 3 here, and 4 here. So for that purpose, I'm going to use the formula sequence. And in this case, I'm not going to use rows, but I'm going to use columns. I would go to 3 columns. The next 3 columns for subject, age, and marks start with 2, and I will step increment by 1. So if I select this portion of the formula and press F9, you will see that it gives me a sequence of column 2, 3, and 4. Ctrl Z. We will complete the formula by using a false, an exact match. Bracket close, enter. And you can see that Usman, we have the entry Usman, arts 23 and 74. It comes exactly like this. If I change this to Saad, the first entry is maths 22 and 91. So this is how we can use VLOOKUP along with sequence formula. This is one of the very exciting new formulas in Excel Dynamic Array Formulas suite. This is going to change the way we are going to apply formulas on range of cells. I hope you would have enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.